This is the second part of the video series for oral presentation skills. This video discusses the visual aspect of public speaking or oral presentation. Bloomberg states that communication skills is one of the rare competencies that companies want most. Ironically, it is the biggest fear of many. Glossophobia, a medical term for fear of public speaking, is very common among people. One of the reasons could be connected to the theory that is called spotlight effect. It is a form of cognitive bias, specifically an egocentric bias that forms in our minds. This bias is giving us an illusion that we are the center of our own universe, and because of that, we sometimes thought that the other people perceive us the way we perceive ourselves. We have this bias that we are always in the spotlight, but in reality, we are not. Spotlight effect is making us overly conscious of ourselves. Consequently, this could lead to speech anxiety. It is a maladaptive cognitive and physiological reactions to environmental events that result in ineffective public speaking behaviors, and it is very evident in the visual aspects of oral presentation. We have to address this because visuals is the first thing that people will notice in any form of public speaking. According to Mehrabian theory, visual is 55% of the message that we communicate to others. Deliberate practice will help you to eliminate the unwanted glossophobia or speech anxiety. Deliberate practice pertains to the critical evaluation of ourselves. We have to analyze and understand the causes of our nervousness, anxiety, and glossophobia. To do this, we need to answer the question, what to do before the oral presentation? First on the list is to know your audience. Your presentation is not all about you, but all about the needs of the audience. Watch the first video regarding verbal aspect to fully understand this matter. Second is to deliberately practice until we can reach the level of having the mastery of the content. This will eliminate reading during presentation, which will boost your credibility. It establishes strong eye contact with your audience. Eye contact is very important in getting and sustaining the attention of your audience. It should well be established and maintained in the entire presentation. Third, you have to be familiar with the venue where your presentation will take place. Details such as the size of the room, placement of the projector, the stage, and others. You need a vivid image of the venue because this is crucial in the process of visualization. Why? According to Brenner 2016, the subconscious mind is a programmable hard drive. It will look for and guide you to whatever you tell it by imagining. The way we clearly and specifically visualize the details of our presentation will greatly influence the fruition of our success. Last, before the presentation, you have to watch what you eat and drink because the food and drinks that we take could aggravate speech anxiety. You have to stay away from heavy meals, caffeine, and milk. Light meals and water are the safest go-to before presentation. Light meals will give you enough glucose for sufficient energy and water for hydration. You also have to be prepared on what to do during the presentation. At the venue, find a friendly face in the crowd to lessen your anxiety. Next, know what are the unnecessary gestures to avoid that will sabotage your presentation. First, avoid falling short of enthusiasm. It should be resonated before, during, and after your presentation. Because, according to Jim Kwik, information plus emotion is equal to long-term memory. If you would like your audience to remember your presentation, you have to let them feel the feelings of enthusiasm. Second, avoid leaning on lectern. This could weaken the power of your presence on stage. If you do not need the lectern, no need to use it. Third, avoid fidgeting. Fidgeting is a nonverbal communication for nervousness and discomfort. This gesture diverts the attention of the audience to your unnecessary body movements. Fourth, do not be too excited or else you will look like you're all over the place. This is eyesore and will also divert the attention of the audience from understanding the content of your presentation. The least thing that you would like to do is to confuse your audience. Fifth, avoid looking at the ceiling for too long because this gesture implies that you do not have the mastery of the content. This verbal communication is telling us that you're thinking, or worse, you have forgotten some parts of the content. Now that you know what gestures to avoid, let us talk about effective gestures to use. First, utilize the power of hand gestures. Hands are the trust indicators. People need to see your hands to feel that they can trust you. Instead of putting your hands in your pocket or behind you, show it and use varied hand gestures. Make sure that your hand gestures are cohesive with the content. Varied hand gestures could be used as a tool for information retention because our eyes gravitate towards an object which is in motion. Similarly, to sustain the attention of your audience, you have to move around the stage. Use the speaker's triangle. Imagine a triangle on stage and utilize it as you move around the stage. The combination of varied hand gestures and moving around the stage will definitely increase your rapport to the audience. You can start at the center as you deliver your introduction. And when you're about to discuss the body, you can start walking towards the other point of the triangle. And same thing for the conclusion. Make sure that you will also deliberately practice this, or else you might present an awkward movement on stage. Visual aids are significant in any oral presentation. You have to design it effectively. To do this, always remember that ideally there should only be one picture or one sentence per slide. This will help your audience to focus on what you are saying. This will also showcase how knowledgeable you are with your content because you do not need to read text on the slides. Speaking of text, there should only be 6 lines or fewer per sentence. You have to avoid flashing slides with paragraphs or heavy text because the audience will read ahead of you and causing unnecessary diversion of attention. Also, the text should be at least 40 in font size to be readable for the audience. Avoid eyes or color combination in designing slides. Refer to the color wheel for complementary colors. To further magnify your credibility as a speaker, wearing appropriate attire is crucial. Executive attire is the go-to wardrobe for oral presentation. Also remember to use executive colors such as gray, blue, and black. These executive colors resonate credibility. Gray suggests power and control. Blue is perceived as the color of stability that inspires trust. Black connotes sophistication and elegance. Remember, visual aspect is the first thing that will be noticed in any form of public speaking. The decision-making of whether you're a credible speaker or not starts at the visual. Check other videos on verbal aspect of public speaking. Good luck!